for dropping in. Come on into my sitting room. We're going to have a chat. This is a little bit different than normal. Normally, with Cycling Against Suicide, we'd be in the 3 Arena. Sorry, show my age. We'd be in the 3 Arena, or we'd be in the RDS, or we'd be in City West, and we'd have thousands of us gathered together, singing and dancing and cheering and having the crack and just talking about life and feelings and love and stuff. But here you are in your classroom or your sitting room, and here I am in my sitting room. But you know what? We can still talk about mental health and we can still talk about wellness. Now, if you don't know me, I'm Bob Cardy, and I'm from an organisation called The Right Mind. And really, The Right Mind is just about, I suppose I've been going around the world trying to teach people to use their emotions and to teach them to use their creative side and just to see that there's more ways to live in life than to figuring it out logically. So that's what I've been doing, and I suppose it's always been my thing to talk about love ever since I was a kid, I suppose, because when I was a little boy, I remember once I fell, and I remember my dad picking me up. He's a big fat soldier, and he had a big jacket with a big brass buttons up the front, and I remember he had this gorgeous smell of sweat and cigarette smoke and turf and Old Spice aftershave, and that's just the smell of my dad. But I remember when he'd open up his jacket, he'd put my arm on one side and the other arm on the other side, and he'd button up the jacket, and I'd be locked inside real safe. And my dad would say to me, "Don't be crying, you're lovely, you're lovable, and you're loved. You're lovely, you're lovable, and you're loved." And you know what? On the days when I feel, and I'm sure you're like this as well, the days when I get a bit low and I feel a bit down, and my head says to me, "You're alone, Rob, you're on your own, no one cares." I remember that I'm lovely, I'm lovable, and I'm loved. And I want you to know this, you're never on your own, okay? Just even if you're struggling, even if something you hear today at today's presentations, and I know you have lots of great stuff to hear today, you've always got your mum and dad or your family to talk to, you've got your doctor to talk to, you've got your school counsellors to talk to. There's even, like, if you don't want to talk to any of them, there's even a line, the Samaritans, 116 123, that you can give a call and they'll talk to you. And there's a website called yourmentalhealth.ie where you can go online and find what services are available in your area. So come here, I don't know if anyone else to mention it. I want to talk about the elephant in the room. This yoke, COVID-19, oh my God. What a year this has been. You know, only last January we had a big conference with thousands of us from Cycling Against Suicide talking about wellness and mental health. But now it's like life, it's like Star Trek, it's life, Jim, but not as we know it. And everything's changed. Remember, this time last year, things started appearing in the news, like a coronavirus, lockdowns, and seniors at risk, and mass shortage, and then the social media took off, and everyone's planted all sorts of conspiracy theories, and man, there's some funny jokes and memes, they were brilliant. But then things start changing at home for you. Do you remember, like, every time you went into Jack's, your dad was in there because it's the only place I can get Wi-Fi. And then you're trying to do your homeschooling, and your little brother or your little sister were sitting on the table putting food everywhere. And then you went to use your computer. Maybe your ma was in there. She was at a Zoom meeting. And then when we start going out, we weren't allowed to hug. We weren't allowed to say hello. We had to stay 2 meters, and we still do. We had to stay 2 meters apart to keep everyone safe. And then we had to sanitize our hands wherever we went. And then we went to the supermarket. There was these trains, all these shopping trolleys backed up behind each other. So it's like life was just weird, isn't it? Maybe you've done that poem 1916 for one of your exams, when W.B. Yeats said this. He said, "All has changed utterly, a terrible beauty is born." And really within that terrible beauty, I suppose, what has COVID-19 been doing to our mental health? And I suppose it really is mental health, but not as we know it. And I describe my mental health, and I don't want to get spooky about it, but I was kind of thinking, it's like when my head and my heart just aren't talking to each other. They're not taking the selfies. And I spend my time, I suppose, because I do get challenged with my mental illness, how do I keep them to be friends? Because, you know, sometimes we say that 1 in 4 people have an issue with their mental health. I think that's rubbish. I think it's 4 in 4. I think we all have an issue with our mental health. So it's important that we all do things to mind ourselves. Simple things like eating well, sleeping well, be careful what we watch and read, be careful who we hang out with. I suppose doing things like volunteering, educating ourselves, they're all really important to look after your mental health. If you really want your head and your heart to be friends, you've got to do things for them. It's like any friendship. If you want to keep a friendship well, you've got to look after it. If you want to keep your mental health well, you've got to look after it. And that's what I try to do. And one of the great things I've learned is that I have to live my life as a thermostat and not as a thermometer. So what's the difference, you might say? Well, I believe that a thermometer just reacts to whatever's going on in life, whereas a thermostat controls it. So if it's 65 degrees in the room, that's what a thermometer will be. If it's 75, that's what it'll be. Whereas a thermostat decides who's the boss. Thermostat tells you what the temperature is going to be. So even in a situation, just say to yourself, am I approaching this like a thermostat or a thermometer? And then the other thing I use to keep my head in a good space during this lockdown is I learned this a while back, and I just said that in life we all have 3 pillars. Now this is easy to remember because it's got SAS, okay? Could be ASS if you want, but SAS we'll say to keep it polite. Okay, so you've got a sense of security, okay? We all need to know we're safe. We need to know we're safe. And what challenges that is change, okay? So if things are changing, our sense of security and safety gets challenged. So just make sure that you have something to cling on to, some rock, something solid, something that's constant in your life. And stay by that till this goes. You often see in these films where there's an earthquake, people hanging on to something safe and steady. Security is really important. Your sense of security is really important, as is your sense of acceptance. We all need to know we belong. So at the minute, you might be challenged because your GAA club is closed down, your camogie club is gone, your hockey club is gone, maybe your chess club or your drama group is gone, maybe your dance class is gone, maybe just getting out with your friends is gone. So that sense of acceptance, that sense of belonging, we don't have it at the minute. Where's my tribe is what we're all asking. And the third pillar that I have to look after is my sense of significance. Who am I and why does that matter? So my sense of significance is really important. And again, you know, because we're all being locked away, we don't feel significant. We don't feel we matter. Can I just tell you this? You matter. As my dad would say to me, you're lovely, you're lovable, and you're loved. So today, I want you to do some work on yourself. Have a look, and don't say things like, well, I could do that, but, or I would do that if. I want you to say what I will do to look after my wellness. What will I do today? And let your sense of resilience kick in, because resilience is really important. That bouncing back, it's like that flower that can grow in a place that's really barren when people go, nothing could grow there. Get yourself a vision for your life. Have a view for where you want to go. Keep it short term at the minute because, hey, we don't know where we're going to go in the next couple of weeks. And I want you to be persistent and tenacious. Be persistent and tenacious. Do not give in. And I'll tell you why. Because I've got 4 granddaughters and you are the generation that are going to run the world that they live in. And I want them to know, because you're around the world, that it's safe. Because there's going to be people there who's going to tell them that they've got to look after their mental health, that they've got to feed their soul, and they'll tell them that they're lovely, lovable, and loved. Enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget, mind yourself. Thanks for coming in. Now I have to let you out of my sitting room, you see, because I can't just walk off stage, so I've got to walk over here and switch off the camera. Enjoy the rest of the day, because there's some great speakers.
See you guys, we need your help for this next part, alright? Everybody together, we want to hear you sing it. Talk to me, baby, where you wanna go? Sing it! Talk to me, baby, what you wanna do? Louder! Talk to me, baby, where you wanna go? You want to be higher? What? You want to be higher? Talk to me, baby, where you wanna go? Talk to me, baby, what you wanna do? Talk to me, baby, where you wanna go? You should be higher. What? You should be higher. Let's do it. Talk to me, baby. Take it away. Louder. Talk to me, baby, what you wanna do? Louder. Talk to me, baby, where you wanna go? You should be higher. What? You should be higher.
Hello there, my name is John Doran, author of Ways to Wellbeing, guidance counsellor and TED speaker, and it gives me great pleasure to join you at this fantastic student congress. I wonder, could you do me a favour? Could you put your hand up if you talk to yourself? Now, if statistics are right to go by, about 90% of you have put your hand up saying, yes, I think you should find I speak to myself on quite a regular basis. About 10% of you are saying, what did he say? Put my hand up. Do I talk to myself? I don't talk to myself. Who said that? All of us talk to ourselves in reality. And sometimes that voice in our head, I call it the inner monkey, can be very critical. Would you agree? Behind me you see, I call it my elephant in the Zoom, my elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is the last year has been difficult on all of us. Not least young people who've been starved of experiences they normally would have, whether you were in transition year or fifth year or studying for your leaving certificate. And something that doesn't work when you're finding it difficult is something called snapping out of it. You know, you're not a multi-purpose wrench designed to snap in or snap out of anything. So I'm hoping to share with you a couple of tips, a couple of techniques to help you get the best rather than the stress out of yourself. That's it, no big deal. So what are the thoughts floating in your head? Lurking, lingering, loitering, waiting to be said. The things you've always wanted to say but struggle to find an appropriate way. Conversations swept under the carpet. The reason being you weren't quite sure how to start it. Have you ever noticed it's very easy to talk about this and that, the dog, the weather, the TV, the cat? But what about all those things left unsaid? What about all those things you would have preferred to have been speaking about instead? What if we could talk about those things without balking? Well, if we could do that, now you're talking. So I want to talk to you about the things that we think about the most but talk about the least. Our own well-being, how to add to the well of well-being. How to keep the well-being table stable. And I would suggest there's 4 legs to that. The emotional leg, the physical leg, the mental leg and the spiritual leg. So behind me you see a sum. So I wonder, can you see anything with your, not your internal voice, but your external voice? Can you see something there? Well, your external voice saying, what, this is a test? I didn't ask to do a test. And the last one is wrong. He's stupid. And I don't like his jacket. Who wears the jacket these days? Other of you are probably saying, well, actually, in fairness, he's after getting 3 right. And I love his jacket. It's really nice. Leave him alone. He's a nice fella. I call this the 149 principle. You know, are you focusing on what you've got wrong and the things that aren't working? Or are you focusing on the things that are working and working well? You know, are you interrogating success or are you simply pointing out that you missed a bit? Nothing is more linked to success than optimism. And what do we mean by optimism? Entertaining the possibility that things can get better on the other side of this experience. You know, when you're looking at an optimistic explanatory style, when you change the viewing, you change the doing. You start to look for the benefits. You start seeking solutions. And you start looking for the possibilities. So to put your mind on the horizon, to look for the 149s, I think is one of the single biggest things you can do to bring out more successful outcomes in your life. To bring out the best in you. To go from being overwhelmed to over it. To turn potential into performance. To turn troubles into triumphs. And to turn fear into fuel. So I'm going to show you a little acronym I use called MEDS. The M stands for mindfulness. In the digital din of ping and ding, sometimes the last place we are is present. Do you know if you're studying and your phone goes off, it takes about 15 minutes to get back to the level of concentration you were prior to being disrupted? That's a lot of pings and dings with notifications. So I'm going to teach you a little thing called a Zen breath. And the Zen breath is really simple. It's breathe in for 3, hold for 2 and out for 5, 6 or 7. So the secret to being present and to getting the maximum benefit from your breath is for the out breath to be longer than the in breath. When you're breathing out longer, it's activating that parasympathetic nervous system and you're just relaxing and you're slowing down and you're more in the moment. You're getting out of your head and into your body. You know, the 20,000 breaths today that you took, how many did you take consciously? The second is E, the energy. Have you ever found your get up and go is got up and gone? Have you ever found that struggle when you're learning from home to get up for that 9 o'clock class on a Monday morning? Well, mining your energy and managing your energy is really important, and also your exercise. So getting out and doing a socially distanced piece of exercise at least 3 times a week, breaking sweat, is better than any known medication on the market. Just the lower levels of the stress hormone cortisol. Who are you surrounding with? Sometimes people can drain you of your energy. Listening to the news can drain you of your energy. There's an old saying, if it bleeds, it leads. Normally the good stuff doesn't get the news, does it? Or if it is on the news, it's the last item on the agenda. So to tune in once a day only for the news, trust me, if there's something important that will find you. So mind your energy, manage your energy. Surround yourself with positive people and positive energy and positive thoughts will be one thing to help you have the mindset to perform optimally. The D is for diet, not just your physical diet, but again, your mental diet, the 6 inches between your ears. What are you feeding that? Sometimes I think in my school we're powered on sausage rolls and ketchup. So to eat optimally is really important, but also to the nutrition up here. What are you entertaining in your head? What are the thoughts that are lurking or lingering? Making the conscious decision to be on good terms with yourself. To realize that the biggest weapon you have against stress is your ability to choose one thought over another. I call that inner voice in my head Homer. It's Homer Simpson. And I have a good relationship with him because he wants to keep me safe. And he doesn't want me making a show of myself. Doesn't want me embarrassing myself. But sometimes he's overcautious. And sometimes he's not helpful. And sometimes he can be quite critical. I don't have to believe everything I think. I can push back against those ants. Those automatic negative thoughts. So remember that. Thoughts aren't facts. If I had something written down here that was not complimentary, what I would do is get my duster and I would rub it off. I would just treat it like graffiti. So you can do similarly with your thoughts. Choose to entertain the thoughts that are empowering, that are enabling you, that are energizing you. And choose to move on from the thoughts that aren't. No experience is wasted if you learn from it. And I think there's been lots of experiences in here. And the thing about stress is it amplifies the 15s to the detriment of perspective. In other words, the 15s loom so large, you actually can't see the 149s. You can't see the blessings, the relationships that have been renewed, the chance and time you've had with your family. Maybe you've started taking exercise, and maybe you've reached out to some of the online platforms and colleges that have been showing some virtual pieces. So what have been the blessings for you? What can you use from this time that will make you better on the other side of the experience? Perhaps you've had to delve deep into your character. I'm thinking as we're going through this that we're not in the 1940s in a bunker in Berlin with a blitz of bombs. I'm on a sofa with Netflix on tap. There's food in the fridge. There's light in the light bulb. There's heat in the radiator. Things aren't too bad. I choose to focus on the 149s. I'm not trying to dismiss the 15s. There have been many 15s. A lot of people have been ill. I would rather be in school than at home doing things by Zoom. So I'm not talking about an untethered optimism, but what are the opportunities, the benefits? What are the solutions that you can put your focus on? And then the S is for sleep. And that sleep is not a passive waste of your precious time. To develop good sleep hygiene is really important. And that means, and I'm sorry to say it, no screens at bedtime. Put the screens away. Barack Obama said some of the biggest mistakes he made were through lack of sleep. So your sleep is really important. To get that good replenishing 7 or 8 hours of night of sleep are really important. Manage and maintain your exercise and your energy. Look after your diet, not just physical but mental. And make sure you're getting your sleep. And remember, nothing great was ever achieved by anyone except someone who dared to believe that there was something inside of themselves more significant than circumstances. Go well and positively, and thank you for listening.
Hello to all the students watching for the Student Congress. I'm so sorry that it's not in person this time. My name is Nick Vujicic and I'm so honored to give this quick 5 motivational minutes with you just to help you to reduce stress in your life and to really help you to become resilient when you're facing challenges where we were just not expecting what 2020 looked like, and now 2021 in some aspects kind of feel like a part 2. of last year, and I just want to tell you that my name is Nick and I love you. Maybe you don't know much about who I am, but I have been to Ireland and I love your country, love your people. My watered down Aussie accent is because I was born and raised in Australia and had been now living in the US for the last 17 years. And I just wanted to share with you a little bit, maybe some principles that you can take away in how you can really tackle your challenges one at a time and really become a little bit more self-aware of the strength that you can really have with the right mindset and reframing obstacles as opportunities. I actually, first of all, want to say that I'm born without arms and legs, and I tell always people that I don't know what pain anyone else goes through. I never compare suffering or pain or problems. I actually believe it's worse being in a broken home than having no arms and legs. But I tell you, now at 38 years old, I look back and I see my wife every day. Her name is Kanae. She's half Japanese, half Mexican. We call that Japsican. And we have 4 children, ages 8 and 5 are our sons, and our twin girls are age 3. And we're so blessed to really be alive in such a time as this, where my passion and drive for life is to inspire people to never give up. Not to tell you that I understand what you're going through again, but to tell you that beautiful things can come from your broken pieces when you give your broken pieces a chance. You know, when I was a kid, I never thought that I'd have a future or hope. I never thought I'd get a girlfriend. I thought even if I got married, I can't even hold my wife's hand. Well, today, I realized I don't need to hold her hand. I just need to hold her heart. And my kids, I can't hold my kids when they're crying, but when they cry, they come and hug me. And I just want you to know that even though I went through a depression between ages 8 and 12, where the climax of that was an attempted suicide at age 10 in my bathtub in Melbourne, Australia, I know that that was the bottom of the bottoms for me in my life. I felt isolated. I had a fear of what people thought, a fear of failure, a fear that I'd never be able to do anything that was productive or meaningful in my life, and really a fear that there was no purpose at all to my life. And you know, when you feel like there is a lack of purpose in your life, there is a lack of strength to live. And I just want you to know to never ever give up. I want you to know that you're beautiful just the way that you are. And I want you to know that together we're stronger, you're not alone, and you're going to get through this. I'm going to give you quick 5 pillars that can help you to really process challenging times. First of all, do not become allergic to challenges. You know, when you become a parent, make sure you don't give everything your children want when they want it, how they want it, because I'll tell you right now, they're never going to be thankful for anything. And the first thing that I realized in my life is the power of the attitude of gratitude. Not just being thankful for what you have, but when, it gets really tough. Sometimes I had to look back on the bad days and think to myself, wow, it really could have been even worse. So not just counting my blessings on the things that I do have and the things that did go well, but when things really go bad, like when you have to fire employees like I did last year. What's worse than that? Losing friendships. My dad dying of cancer a couple of years ago. What's worse than that? Never being able to say goodbye. And having our family together in one city within a quick drivable distance, it was such a blessing for that. And when I look back at, the last crisis, we know that 2020 wasn't the first world crisis that we've faced as a society either. And so first of all, we must take a breath and remember to count the blessings that we do have and the things that, we can keep on building on. I had a choice to either be angry for what I don't have or be thankful for my little foot. And doing your best and trusting in the rest is just a perspective that has helped me with Thanksgiving. You know, I tell you right now, has given me a great power to reach my full potential. I've actually seen more people happy who are poor than rich people happy. And I just want you to know, being thankful for what you have is key. Second thing is to process your emotions. You know, being able to talk to someone, maybe journal, vet what you're feeling instead of putting it down, bottlenecking it up. You know, sometimes when we bottle up our emotions or deny them or suppress them, that's not healthy. So talk to someone, call a friend. Even though you might have a fear of inadequacy, what to say, don't worry about that. Just pick up the phone and know that friendship is so important. If you need professional help and counseling, I want you to know I'm a motivational speaker and I'm going through counseling myself. The third thing that you can really understand to embrace is after you are thankful for what you have and after you've dealt with your emotions and process your emotions and at least talk to someone about how you feel, I want you to learn from these obstacles that you're going through. Maybe write down some lessons that you've learned so far about yourself, about other people, and maybe initiating a self-awareness process of really who are you? What do you want to leave behind on planet Earth when you're not here? How do you make people feel? Is it just really about success or how you change people's lives along the way? I think that's really interesting to see that challenges and obstacles, when you go through them, they're actually opportunities to learn more about yourself and really learn more about why you're here and the purpose that you can really go for. Which leads me into the fourth thing, resetting short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. Write down 10 short-term goals that when you actually accomplish them, cross them off. Because you'll find that as you accomplish those short-term goals, you'll actually build up the confidence that you might be lacking right now. And lastly, I want you to give yourself some grace and mercy. Take some time and really pace yourself properly. Don't put unreasonable expectations on, you know, in 3 months or 6 months, then I should feel this or that. Take your time. We all deal with challenges differently, but we all become stronger on the other side. Remember, this ain't the last crisis we're going to go through, but when you go through something, you grow through it as well. Remember, don't be allergic to resistance because that's how you build resilience. I'm Nick Vujicic, and thank you so much for hearing my message today. And I really hope that this really encourages you to build up your confidence, be thankful, and really reframe these obstacles and challenges that are in front of you to see them as opportunities to embrace the future and to really dream big and never give up. Thank you so much. Take care.
Please welcome on stage, Coldalive! Is everybody having a good day? Well, it's really great to be here, and I hope you guys can sing along. This is a song called High Hopes. Broken by this wheel keeps spinning around. So